The scout ship Venture drifted through the asteroid belt of the Epsilon Reticuli system, its thrusters occasionally pulsing to maintain position. Captain Jack Reed stood on the bridge, gazing at the holographic display of the surrounding space. Earth's Interstellar Scout Corps had tasked the Venture with mapping this remote system, well beyond the usual human territory. "Captain, energy readings at Mark 376, reported Lisa, the ship's sensor operator. Her fingers danced across the console as she refined the scan. "Definitely artificial. Not one of ours." Reed leaned forward. "First contact?" "Looks that way, sir," replied Lisa. "Multiple signatures now. They're accelerating toward us." The communications officer, Tom, swiveled in his chair. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. Unknown language, but the computer's working on it." The bridge crew fell silent as chittering sounds filled the air, punctuated by harsh clicks and guttural noises. The ship's AI translated moments later. "Primitive vessel, surrender or be destroyed. Your technology belongs to the Krell Empire." Reed's jaw tightened. The Venture was a scout ship, not a warship. With only 30 crew members and minimal defensive capabilities, they were hardly equipped for a confrontation. "Status of the approaching vessels?" he asked. "5 ships, sir. Heavily armed from what I can tell," replied Lisa. "Weapons charging." "All hands to battle stations," Reed ordered, his voice calm despite the situation. "Engineering, prepare for emergency jump. Navigation, plot us a course back to human space." "They've locked weapons on us, Captain," Lisa called out as warning lights flashed across her console. "Tom, broadcast on all frequencies. We are a peaceful exploration vessel. From Earth. We mean no harm and wish to establish diplomatic relations." The response came swiftly. "Your species is unknown to us. Your ship is primitive but may contain useful technology. Prepare to be boarded." Reed's face hardened. Humanity had encountered alien species before, most peaceful or at least reasonable. These Krell were something else entirely. "Engineering, status on that jump drive?" 15 minutes minimum, Captain," came the reply. "The recent asteroid mapping drained our capacitors." Reed nodded grimly. "Then we fight. Activate defense protocols." The Venture wasn't completely defenseless. Hidden beneath its civilian-looking hull were experimental shield systems and a prototype point defense grid, technology that the Interstellar Scout Corps had been testing in the field. "Sir, they're firing!" Lisa shouted. Energy weapons lanced through space toward the human vessel. The shields flared to life, absorbing the first volley with surprising effectiveness. "Return fire," Reed ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." The Venture's point defense turrets emerged from hidden compartments and fired precise bursts at the lead Krell vessel. The alien ship shuddered as several shots connected with its weapon emplacements. "Direct hit," Lisa confirmed. "But the other 4 are still coming." Reed activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. We are engaged with hostile forces and outnumbered. But we are not outmatched. Remember your training. Remember what we stand for. We are representatives of Earth, and we will not go down without showing these aggressors exactly what humanity is capable of when cornered." The crew responded with determined acknowledgments as the Venture banked hard, narrowly avoiding another barrage from the Krell ships. "Sir," Tom called out, "I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They're confused. I don't think they expected us to have shields that could withstand their weapons." Reed smiled grimly. "Then let's give them more surprises. Tactical, deploy countermeasures. Let's show these Krell that targeting a lone human ship was the worst mistake they could have made." Commander Grok of the Krell battlecruiser Subjugator watched with mounting disbelief as the small human vessel evaded another coordinated attack run. What had seemed like an easy acquisition was proving frustratingly difficult. "Impossible," he hissed, mandibles clicking in agitation. That primitive craft should have been disabled with the first volley. His tactical officer, a lower-ranked Krell named Draz, consulted his screens. "The vessel possesses shielding technology beyond what its design suggests, Commander. And their point defense systems have already disabled 2 of our forward weapon arrays." Grok slammed a clawed appendage on his command chair. "No unregistered species possesses such technology. Intensify the attack. I want that ship captured. Intact, but the crew is expendable." Aboard the Venture, Reed watched as the Krell ships formed a new attack pattern. "They're trying to surround us," Lisa reported. Using the asteroid field to limit our escape vectors. Reed nodded thoughtfully. They don't know these rocks like we do. We've been mapping this belt for weeks. He turned to the helm officer. Mike, remember that dense cluster we charted yesterday? Head there, full thrust. Sir? That's dangerously dense with asteroidal material, Mike responded, hands already adjusting course. Exactly. And we have the detailed maps they don't, Reed replied. Engineering. Divert non-essential power to shields and engines. The venture accelerated toward what appeared to be an impenetrable wall of tumbling space rock. The Krell ships followed, keeping their distance but maintaining weapons lock. They're holding back, Lisa observed. They don't want to risk damaging our ship too badly. They really do want our technology. Good, Reed said. That gives us options. Tom, have you made any progress on accessing their communications? Tom nodded excitedly. Yes, sir. Their encryption is advanced but follows predictable algorithmic patterns. I've managed to tap into their tactical channel. Perfect. Let's hear what they're saying. The bridge speakers emitted harsh Krell language, translated in near real time by the ship's AI. The alien commander was berating his subordinates for failing to disable the human vessel quickly. He sounds frustrated, Reed noted with satisfaction. Let's make him more so. Mike, on my mark, execute nav plan Theta 6. Theta 6 confirmed, Mike acknowledged, fingers poised over his controls. As the venture approached the dense asteroid cluster, Reed waited until the pursuing Krell ships committed to their course. Mark! Mike executed the maneuver flawlessly. The venture cut its main engines, fired maneuvering thrusters in a precisely calculated sequence, and slipped through a narrow gap between two massive asteroids, a passage only visible to those with the detailed maps the human crew had spent weeks creating. Behind them, the Krell ships scrambled to adjust course. Two managed to veer away from the asteroid field. One clipped a large rock, sending it spinning with damaged engines. The fourth and fifth ships were forced to take a longer route around the cluster. We've split them up, Lisa confirmed, triumph in her voice. Two are cut off on the far side of the cluster. One is damaged and falling behind. Two are still in pursuit but at extended range. Reed nodded. Good work. Now for Phase 2. Engineering. Status on the jump drive? 10 minutes to minimum charge. Captain, came the response. But we're working on something else that might help. Chief Engineer Davis here. We've been analyzing their weapon signatures. With some modifications, we could tune our shields to specifically counter their energy frequencies. Do it, Reed ordered. Tom, prepare a message packet for Earth. Include everything we've gathered on the Krell ships, weapons, and communications. If we don't make it back, Headquarters needs to know what they're dealing with. Aye, Captain, Tom replied soberly. Reed addressed the bridge crew. We're not just fighting for our survival now. We're gathering intelligence on a potentially hostile species. Every minute we stay alive, every bit of data we collect, could be crucial for Earth's defense if these Krell decide to expand their empire toward human space. The venture continued its evasive maneuvers through the asteroid field, playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse with the pursuing alien vessels. But the mouse had sharp teeth and was getting sharper by the minute. Chief Engineer Anna Davis wiped sweat from her brow as she reconnected power couplings beneath the main console in engineering. Around her, her team worked with urgent precision, rerouting systems and implementing modifications that, under normal circumstances, would have required weeks of testing. Pass me the phase inverter, she called to her assistant Ben, who slid the tool across the deck. If this works, we'll be able to reflect a portion of their energy weapons back at them. And if it doesn't? Ben asked, securing a panel nearby. Then we'll know really quickly, Anna replied with grim humor. She tapped her comm badge. Engineering to bridge, shield modifications at 70%. We need 5 more minutes. On the bridge, Reed acknowledged the update as he studied the tactical display. The 2 undamaged Krell ships had regrouped and were cautiously approaching the asteroid field's edge, where the Venture had taken position. They're being more careful now, Lisa noted, learning from their mistakes. All intelligent species do, Reed replied. Tom, have you extracted anything useful from their communications? Tom nodded. Their command structure is rigid, hierarchical. The commander, Grok, I believe, makes all decisions. Subordinates don't seem to have much initiative. Also, they keep referring to us as unregistered biologicals. I think they categorize species they encounter, suggesting they've done this before, Reed concluded. Lisa, what's the status of that damaged Krell ship? Still operational, but struggling with propulsion. Their shields appear compromised as well. Reed considered this information. Mike, plot an intercept course to the damaged vessel. The helm officer turned in surprise. Sir, you want to approach them? Best defense is a good offense, Reed said. They don't expect us to engage. We'll use the damaged ship as leverage. The Venture emerged from its hiding place among the asteroids, thrusters flaring as it set course directly for the limping Krell vessel. The move caught the aliens completely by surprise, exactly as Reed had intended. They're scrambling to respond, Lisa reported. The two functional ships are breaking formation to intercept us. Tom, open a channel to the Krell commander. The communications officer worked his console. Channel open, sir. Reed stood tall. This is Captain Jack Reed of the Earth vessel Venture. Your unprovoked attack on my ship constitutes an act of war against humanity. We were on a peaceful mission of exploration before you fired upon us. The translated response came quickly. Your species is unknown. Your territory is unclaimed. Your technology is forfeit by right of conquest under Krell imperial law. Perhaps, Reed continued, undeterred. But you should know that we've been transmitting all information about this encounter, including your tactical capabilities and weaknesses, to our home world. Additionally, we are now approaching your damaged vessel with hostile intent. There was a momentary silence before the Krell commander responded, his translated voice carrying a new note of uncertainty. You would not dare attack a disabled ship. You fired first, Commander. We are merely responding in kind. However, I am authorized to offer terms. Withdraw your forces, and we will assist your damaged vessel before departing your territory peacefully. On the Krell command ship, Grok chittered angrily to his advisors. This small vessel and its alien crew were nothing like the other primitive species the Krell had subjugated. Their tactics were unpredictable, their technology unexpectedly advanced. Commander, Draz warned. The human vessel is powering weapons. They appear to have reconfigured their defensive systems. Grok hesitated, something he had rarely done in his long military career. The potential technology gain was significant, but the risk was growing. If these humans had indeed transmitted tactical data to their homeworld. Sir, we've got a lock on their damaged ship, Lisa informed Reed. Engineering reports shield modifications complete. Reed nodded. Target their propulsion systems only. Fire when ready. The Venture's modified weapons lanced out, striking the damaged Krell vessel with surgical precision. The alien ship's remaining engine flared and went dark. Direct hit, Lisa confirmed. Their main power is fluctuating. Tom, to the Krell commander. Your vessel is now completely disabled. We can target your other ships just as effectively. Withdraw now or face the consequences. The tense standoff stretched for several long moments. Then, slowly, the two functional Krell ships began to alter course away from the Venture. They're backing off, Lisa said with surprise in her voice. Reed wasn't convinced. Maintain battle. Stations. This might be a tactical repositioning. His caution proved warranted when moments later, Lisa called out, Energy surge. They're launching some kind of missiles. The missiles streaked toward the Venture with alarming speed, their trajectories calculated to box in the human vessel. Reed had anticipated this. The Krell commander had too much pride to retreat so easily. Defensive countermeasures. Full spread. Reed ordered calmly. Mike, execute evasion pattern Delta. The Venture released a cloud of specialized debris, tiny fragments of reflective material and electromagnetic disruptors that scattered the missile guidance systems. Simultaneously, the ship performed a complex series of maneuvers that no pilot could have executed without the detailed knowledge of the asteroid field they possessed. 2 missiles detonated harmlessly in the countermeasure cloud. Another struck an asteroid. The 4th and 5th continued tracking the Venture, adjusting course to follow. Those last 2 have some kind of advanced guidance, Lisa warned. Impact in 15 seconds. Anna's voice came through from engineering. Bridge. Route auxiliary power to the modified shield grid, right now. Reed nodded to Tom, who immediately complied. The ship hummed as energy was redirected. The missiles struck the Venture's shields, simultaneously. Instead of the expected catastrophic damage, the shields flared brilliantly, then projected the energy outward in a concentrated wave. The blast rebounded toward the Krell vessels, catching them unprepared. Direct feedback hit. "On the lead Krell ship!" Lisa exclaimed. "Their forward shields are down!" The bridge crew watched in amazement as the Krell commander's ship listed to one side, clearly damaged by its own weapons. Anna's triumphant voice came through the comm. "It worked! The phase inversion shield modification redirected their energy. Signature back at them, not at full power, but enough to give them a taste of their own medicine." Reed allowed himself a brief smile. "Well done, everyone. But don't celebrate yet. We've wounded them, and that often makes an enemy more dangerous, not less." As if confirming his words, the remaining functional Krell vessel moved to protect its commander's damaged ship, while the third, already crippled vessel, drifted helplessly nearby. "Captain," Tom called, "we're receiving a transmission from the lead Krell ship." The alien commander's translated voice contained barely controlled fury. "This attack will not be forgotten, humans. You have revealed yourselves to be a threat to the Krell Empire. Our main fleet will be notified of your existence, and your space will be cleansed." Reed responded firmly. "Commander Grok, understand this. What you've encountered today is a single scout ship, not a warship. If you choose to escalate this conflict to our homeworld, you'll face vessels hundreds of times more powerful than the Venture. I again offer you the chance to withdraw and avoid further bloodshed." After a tense silence, Lisa reported, "The Krell ships are moving away, sir. Slow but deliberate. I think they're withdrawing to regroup." Reed nodded. "Keep tracking them. Tom, status on the jump drive?" "Ready for activation, Captain. Coordinates for Earth space locked in." "Not yet," Reed decided, studying the tactical display. "If these Krell are as expansionist as they seem, humanity needs to know everything possible about them. We need time to transmit all our data to Earth through the relay network." "Sir," Lisa said hesitantly, "the commander mentioned a main fleet. If they call for reinforcements—" "I'm counting on it," Reed replied. "But they'll need to send a message first, which gives us time. Tom, can you intercept their communications?" The communications officer nodded. "Already working on it, Captain. Their encryption is sophisticated, but now that we've had more exposure to their systems, I'm making progress." "Good. We need to know where their fleet is and how quickly they can respond." Reed turned to Mike at the helm. "Position us near that damaged Krell ship, just outside weapons range. I want them to think we're considering boarding them." As the Venture maneuvered closer to the crippled alien vessel, sensors detected frantic activity aboard. "They're destroying something," Lisa reported. "Internal energy surges consistent with deliberate system overloads." "They're scrubbing their databases," Reed concluded. "They don't want us accessing their technology or information." Tom called out from his station. "Captain, I've intercepted a transmission from the commander's vessel. It's directed toward a set of coordinates beyond this system. Based on signal strength, it's some kind of faster-than-light communication. Can you decode it? Working on it?" "Yes. Partial translation coming through now." The bridge speakers emitted the translated message. "Encountered hostile unregistered species designate human. Unexpectedly advanced technology. Request immediate reinforcement. Coordinates follow. Advise main fleet. Extreme caution. Potentially significant." "Threat," Reed's expression hardened. "Now we know. They're calling for their fleet." He activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. Our mission has changed. We are no longer just explorers. We are Earth's first line of defense against a potentially hostile species. We need to gather as much intelligence as possible before returning home to warn Earth." The crew's responses came back determined and resolute. This was what they had trained for. The unexpected, the dangerous frontier of space. "Sir," Lisa said suddenly, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the disabled Krell vessel. It appears to be... oh no. Self-destruct sequence." "Evasive maneuvers," Reed commanded instantly. "Maximum thrust." The Venture surged forward as Mike executed the order without hesitation. Behind them, the damaged Krell ship erupted in a blinding flash, sending a shockwave of debris and radiation outward. The human vessel shuddered violently as the edge of the blast caught them. Warning lights flashed across the bridge consoles. The ship's artificial gravity fluctuated momentarily before stabilizing. "Damage report," Reed called out, picking himself up from where he'd been thrown against a railing. Shields held, but they're down to 30%, Lisa reported, wiping blood from a cut on her forehead. Minor hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. Emergency containment active. Sensors are degraded. 2 crew members reported injured in engineering. Reed tapped his comm badge. Bridge to engineering. Status? Anna's voice came through, accompanied by the sound of fire suppression systems. We're managing, Captain. The blast damaged some of our power relays, but the jump drive is still operational. We're rerouting systems now. Understood. Bridge to medical. Dr. Wilson, casualties? 2 injuries. Neither critical, came the doctor's calm reply. Burns and contusions? They'll be fine. Reed nodded with relief. Tom, did you manage to save the intercepted Krell communications? Yes, Captain. I've got the partial transmission, and have been working on decrypting more of their standard communications protocols. There's something interesting. Their self-destruct was deliberately designed to prevent capture, but specifically to prevent access to something they call the registry. The registry? Reed asked. From context, I believe it's a database of species they've encountered, categorized by technological level and threat assessment. They seemed particularly concerned about us accessing it. Reed considered this. So they've done this before, cataloging species they encounter, probably, to determine which ones to conquer or exploit. It appears so, sir. Captain, Lisa interrupted. The remaining Krell ships are moving out of the system at high speed. Based on their trajectory, they're heading toward the coordinates mentioned in their distress call. Reed made a swift decision. We're going to follow them, at a safe distance. They'll lead us to their reinforcements, and we need to know what we're dealing with. The bridge crew exchanged worried glances, but no one protested. They understood the stakes. Mike, plot a pursuit course, passive sensors only. Keep us just within tracking range but beyond their detection threshold. Tom, continue working on decrypting their communications. Lisa, I want a complete analysis of their weapons capabilities based on what we've encountered. As the Venture carefully followed the retreating Krell vessels, Reed used the time to check on the rest of the ship. The engineering team had stabilized the power systems, and medical reported that the injured crew members were recovering well. Ship systems were operating at 85% efficiency, not ideal, but sufficient for their mission. 6 hours later, Lisa's sensors detected something significant. Captain, the Krell ships have reduced speed and are approaching what appears to be a spatial anomaly. No, wait. It's artificial. Some kind of jump gate or wormhole generator. The view screen magnified the distant image, a massive ring-shaped structure hanging in space, glowing with energy as the 2 Krell ships approached it. Fascinating, Reed murmured. They have stable wormhole technology. Tom, are you recording this? Every bit of it, Captain. This is remarkable. The ring structure pulsed with increasing intensity before a swirling vortex formed at its center. The Krell ships transmitted something, presumably authentication codes, then proceeded into the artificial wormhole and vanished. Can we follow them? Reed asked. Lisa shook her head. Not safely, sir. Without knowing the proper transit protocols, we'd likely be destroyed. However, I am detecting residual energy patterns that might help us understand the technology. Reed nodded. Gather all the data you can, then set a course to— Captain, Tom interrupted urgently. I've just decoded more of their communications. The reinforcements aren't coming through that gate. They're coming from another direction entirely. This was a diversion. As if confirming his words, Lisa's sensors blared warnings. Multiple contacts emerging from light speed behind us. 8 Krell warships, much larger than the ones we encountered. Reed's mind raced. They'd been outmaneuvered. The retreating ships had been a deliberate ploy to distract them while the real threat approached from another vector. Battle stations, he ordered. Mike, plot the fastest course away from those ships toward the edge of the system. Tom, prepare to transmit all our gathered intelligence to Earth through the quantum relay. If we don't make it back, that information could save countless lives. As the bridge crew scrambled to execute his orders, Reed stared at the approaching Krell warships on the tactical display. They had walked into a trap, but the Krells still didn't understand who they were dealing with. Humanity had survived worse odds throughout its history. Reed activated the ship-wide comm once more. All hands, this is the captain. We are outnumbered and outgunned, but not outsmarted. Remember your training, trust your crewmates, and know this. Today we fight not just for our own survival, but for Earth itself. The Krell thought they found easy prey when they targeted our lone ship. Let's make sure they regret that decision with every fiber of their being. The determination in the crew's responses told him everything he needed to know. The Venture might be just one ship against many, but it carried the indomitable spirit of humanity. And that was a force the Krell had clearly underestimated. The Venture accelerated away from the approaching Krell warships, pushing its engines beyond safety protocols. In engineering, Anna and her team worked frantically to squeeze every bit of power from the systems. Krell vessels in pursuit, Lisa reported. They're faster than us, Captain. Intercept in 3 minutes. Reed studied the tactical display, his mind calculating possibilities. Status of the jump drive? Fully charged, but we need to be clear of the system's gravity well, Tom replied. Reed pointed to a location on the display. Mike, set course. For these coordinates. Maximum speed. Sir? That's deeper into the system, toward the star, Mike questioned, even as his hands moved to comply. Exactly. The Krell expect us to run for open space. We're going to do the opposite. Reed turned to Lisa. Are their ships designed for close solar operations? Lisa scanned the data they'd collected. Unknown, but based on their hull configuration, I'd guess no. They appear built for deep space engagements, not stellar proximity. That's what I thought. Tom, what's the status of our heat shielding after the damage we sustained? Intact, Captain. We lost some sensor arrays, but the thermal protection systems are at 92% capacity. Reed nodded. Good. We're going to slingshot around the star. The Venture was designed for solar observation. We can handle closer approaches than most vessels. The crew understood the plan immediately. It was dangerous, but it played to their ship's strengths, while potentially exploiting an enemy weakness. As the Venture changed course toward the system's sun, the pursuing Krell warships momentarily faltered, clearly surprised by the maneuver. Then they adjusted, continuing the chase but spreading out to cover potential escape vectors. They're trying to anticipate where we'll emerge from the slingshot, Reed observed. Mike, be ready to execute a course change the moment we're in the star's gravity well. Aye, Captain. The brilliant light of the star filled the view screen as the Venture approached, its automated systems darkening the display to protect the crew's vision. Heat warnings began to sound throughout the ship as external temperatures rose rapidly. Hull temperature increasing, Lisa reported, within tolerance, but rising quickly. Engineering to bridge, Anna's voice came through. We're routing additional power to thermal regulation. But we can't maintain this trajectory for more than 60 seconds without risking system failures. Understood, Reed replied. We won't need more than 40. Status of pursuing vessels? They're maintaining pursuit, but at increased distance, Lisa confirmed. Definitely more cautious near the stellar boundary. Perfect. Tom, prepare the modified shield generators for one massive burst, timed with my command. The Venture swung into its slingshot maneuver, the star's immense gravity accelerating the ship to tremendous speed. The hull creaked under the strain, and sweat poured down the faces of the bridge crew as environmental systems struggled to compensate for the heat. 30 seconds to optimal position, Mike announced, his voice tight with concentration as he guided the ship through the precisely calculated trajectory. Krell vessels adjusting formation, Lisa reported. They're positioning to intercept us on the exit vector. Reed smiled grimly. Just as I hoped. Mike, on my mark, execute course change to heading 117 Mark IV. Course plotted and ready, Mike confirmed. The ship reached the closest point of its solar approach, the star's massive prominence visible even through the darkened view screen. The hull temperature warnings reached critical levels. Mark, Reed commanded. Mike executed the course change with precision. Instead of continuing its slingshot trajectory, the Venture abruptly changed direction, using the star's gravity well in combination with its thrusters to perform a maneuver that no pursuing vessel could have anticipated. The Krell are scrambling to adjust, Lisa reported with satisfaction. 2 of their vessels came too close to the stellar boundary. They're experiencing shield failures. Now, Tom, Reed ordered. Full power to the modified shields, directed burst. Tom executed the command. The Venture's shields flared brilliantly as they discharged accumulated solar radiation in a concentrated electromagnetic pulse toward the nearest Krell vessels. The burst struck the already stressed shields of 2 enemy ships, overloading their systems completely. "Direct hit!" Lisa exclaimed. 2 Krell warships disabled. Their power systems are failing. The bridge crew barely had time to register this victory before Anna's urgent voice came through from engineering. "Captain, we need to get clear of the star's radiation now. Our cooling systems are at maximum capacity." "Executing exit trajectory," Mike confirmed, his fingers dancing across the helm controls. The Venture pulled away from the star, its engines straining as it accelerated into open space. Behind them, the Krell fleet was in disarray. 2 ships were drifting powerless, their systems overloaded by the combination of solar radiation and the Venture's ingenious attack. The others were regrouping, but precious minutes had been gained. "Jump drive." "Status?" Reed asked. "Ready, Captain," Tom replied. "Coordinates for Earth locked in." Reed considered their options. They had achieved their primary objective, gathering intelligence on the Krell, and had even managed to disable some of their warships. The smart move would be to jump to safety, immediately. But something else had caught his attention on the tactical display. "Lisa, what's that structure near the edge of the system?" Lisa focused her remaining sensors on the indicated area. "It appears to be another jump gate, similar to the one we saw earlier. Minimal power signature, possibly inactive or in standby mode." Reed made a swift decision. "Change of plans. Mike, set course for that jump gate. Tom, continue analyzing all the Krell communications we've intercepted. I want to know if there's any information about how to activate that gate." "Captain?" Lisa questioned. "The remaining Krell vessels are regrouping. They'll be in pursuit shortly." "I'm aware," Reed replied. "But that gate could be the key to understanding how the Krell move their fleets. If we can gather data on their FTL network, it could be invaluable for Earth's defense." As the Venture altered course toward the distant jump gate, the crew worked with renewed purpose. They had proven that humanity couldn't be easily conquered, and they weren't finished teaching that lesson yet. The Venture approached the inactive jump gate cautiously, its sensors probing the ancient-looking structure. Unlike the active gate they had observed earlier, this one appeared dormant, its massive ring dark against the backdrop of space. "Preliminary analysis suggests this gate is significantly older than the other one," Lisa reported. "Possibly abandoned, or decommissioned." Reed studied the structure with intense interest. "Tom, any luck with those Krell communications?" "Yes, sir," Tom replied excitedly. "I've decrypted more of their transmissions. It seems the Krell didn't build these gates, they discovered them, left by some precursor civilization. They've been using them to expand their empire, but they don't fully understand the technology." Reed's eyebrows rose. "That's significant intelligence. Do they have activation protocols?" "Yes, but it's complex. Each gate requires specific frequency patterns. I've identified what might be the activation sequence for this particular gate from their database fragments." "Status of the pursuing Krell?" Lisa checked her sensors. "Regrouped and approaching, still about 15 minutes behind us. They're being more cautious after what happened near the star." Reed nodded thoughtfully. "Tom, can you transmit the activation sequence to the gate?" "I believe so, Captain, but we have no way of knowing where it leads." "True, but we know it doesn't lead to Krell territory. They're coming from the opposite direction." Reed made his decision. "Transmit the activation sequence. Let's see where this goes." Tom worked his console, sending the complex pattern of signals toward the ancient structure. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, gradually, lights began to flicker along the gate's circumference. Energy readings spiked as dormant systems awakened. "It's working!" Lisa exclaimed. "The gate is powering up, energy signature increasing exponentially." Just as with the previous gate they had observed, a swirling vortex of energy formed at the center of the ring. Unlike the orderly blue-white portal of the active Krell gate, however, this one pulsed with unstable amber and violet energies. "It doesn't look stable," Mike observed nervously. "Agreed," Reed said. "Tom, continue monitoring. I want constant updates on—" "Captain," Lisa interrupted. "I'm detecting new contacts emerging from the gate." All eyes turned to the view screen as ships began to emerge from the unstable portal. Ships unlike any they had encountered before. They were sleek, organic-looking vessels that moved with incredible grace. "Are they Krell?" Reed asked, though he already suspected the answer. "Negative," Lisa confirmed. "Completely different design philosophy. These ships are beautiful." Before anyone could respond further, Tom called out, "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. It's not using any language I recognize, but our universal translator is attempting to process it." Seconds later, a melodic voice filled the bridge. "Detected Krell energy signatures. Preparing defensive action. Unknown vessel. Identify yourselves." Immediately, Reed stood. "This is Captain Jack Reed of the Earth Vessel Venture. We are not affiliated with the Krell. In fact, we've been defending ourselves against their aggression." There was a pause before the voice responded. "Earth Vessel, you are unknown to us, yet you have activated an ancient meridian gate. Explain yourselves." "We are explorers who were attacked by Krell ships. We discovered their communications and used that information to activate this gate, hoping to escape. We mean no harm." Another pause, longer this time. Then, "Our sensors confirm damage to your vessel consistent with Krell weapons. The Krell are enemies of the Meridian Alliance. We have been at war with them for generations." Lisa's console beeped urgently. "Captain, Krell warships approaching. Rapidly. They'll be in weapons range in 8 minutes." The Meridian voice continued. "We detect Krell vessels pursuing you. Your actions in activating this gate have alerted us to their presence in this system, a sector they agreed to avoid under our last treaty. You have done us a service, humans." Reed saw an opportunity. "We're glad to have helped, though it wasn't intentional. We're still learning about the wider galaxy. Perhaps we could share information about our mutual enemy?" "Indeed. But first we must deal with the immediate threat. Your vessel is damaged and would not survive another engagement. Fall back behind our defensive line." The sleek Meridian ships, 7 in total, moved into formation between the Venture and the approaching Krell warships. Their hulls began to glow with energy patterns that pulsed in synchronized waves. "Captain," Tom reported, "the Meridians are transmitting tactical data to us. They're sharing their combat protocols." "This is incredible." Reed nodded. "Accept the transmission but maintain security firewalls. Mike, position us as requested, behind their line." As the Venture maneuvered behind the Meridian vessels, the bridge crew watched in awe as the alien ships began a coordinated dance-like movement. Energy flowed between them, connecting their shields into a unified defensive network.